Joining me now from our bureau in Washington, D.C., former Chief of Staff of the Congressional Electromagnetic Pulse Commission and current Executive Director of the EMP Task Force on National Homeland Security, Peter Pry, Ph.D. Peter, Syria, in the end, Syria is a sovereign nation, right? And at some point, I don't know, it's debatable, I guess, when the United States pulls out troops. It's not an if, it's a when. At some point, we pull out, and Bashar al-Assad is sending in troops, it should be noted, into his own territory. You know, no matter what happens here and what side you're on and which side you come down on, in the end, this is still sovereign Syrian territory.
Well, not only that, but the idea that 2,000 American troops are going to be able to make a difference is madness. President Trump is absolutely right to be pulling those troops out of there. They're surrounded by Russians, by Syrians, by Iranians, by hostile terrorists in the tens of thousands. It's only 2,000 of them. You know, all of these bad guys are looking for an opportunity to give the United States a bloody nose. Right. And it's really been a miracle that we haven't had an Alamo of some sort in Syria yet. So it's long past time to get that handful of troops out of harm's way. Moreover, people keep forgetting that Turkey is a NATO ally. You know, we are supposed to have greater loyalty to our NATO ally, Turkey, even though Turkey hasn't been well behaved recently. But if we go against Turkish interests always, we're going to be pushing them right into the hands of the Russians. So President Trump is doing absolutely the right thing. I'm disgusted by Republicans on the Hill who are criticizing him when they really should be defending the Constitution against this illegal and unconstitutional impeachment proceeding that the House has ginned up.
Now, Peter, the key thing here is, though, from a strategic perspective, we have to make sure that there's no vacuum created similar to what happened in 2011 in Iraq when troops pulled out and the Islamic State filled in. We want to make sure that doesn't happen again. Obviously, we want to let these Islamic State prisoners out. But there's also Hezbollah that's probably watching the operations, right? Not too far away. Iranian-backed is Hezbollah. And you have written a piece saying that now is the time to go after Iran, that the window is effectively closing in terms of Iran and its quest for nuclear weapons. It's not an if, it's a when, isn't it?
Indeed. I and not a few of my colleagues think Iran already has the bomb and has had the bomb for some years, and that the Obama intelligence community that President Trump inherited from President Obama has been wrong and continues to be wrong about the status of the Iranian nuclear weapons program. You know, we don't have our own inspectors going into Iranian facilities. We're relying on the International Atomic Energy Agency, which has a really bad record of underestimating and being wrong about nuclear weapon programs in places like North Korea, Iraq, Libya, and now Iran. They've never been able to inspect all kinds of deep underground facilities that exist in Iran that are likely the location of their clandestine nuclear weapons program. So this is an extremely dangerous situation, too, because in the case of a country like North Korea that's overt about its nuclear program, they are primarily interested in that for deterrence. But when you hide a nuclear program and you have a clandestine program like the Iranians do, and you link that with an extremely aggressive foreign policy that's aimed at advancing radical Islam worldwide, this is a country that probably plans sooner or later to use the bomb.
Why else would they have it, right? And we know Benjamin Netanyahu a couple of months ago came out and showed pictures and said, hey, this was a nuclear weapons development site, and as soon as Iran found out that that was exposed by Israel, suddenly that was wiped. The next day it was wiped off the map. So certainly Iran has something to hide here, including EMPs, right? Potentially EMP could strike Israel and the United States.
Yes, that's right. Any country that has a nuclear weapon, it doesn't have to be a sophisticated one, can do a nuclear EMP attack that poses an existential threat to the United States and Israel. And to point out some facts that seem to constantly get ignored about the Iranian nuclear weapons program, we know that prior to 2003, they had conducted an implosion test. They were building bridge wire detonators, and they were building neutron initiators. You know, in the U.S. World War II Manhattan Project, when we had crossed those technological thresholds, we were only 6 months from the bomb. So that was 2003. You know, that was a decade and a half ago
Right.
that they had crossed that technological threshold. It strains credulity that Iran would have exercised restraint and not gone forward to build the bomb clandestinely, hoping to get a nuclear deal with Barack Obama.
All the sanctions in the world aren't going to stop their steady march toward the bomb, and as you pointed out, they might already have it. So this is something the United States and Israel got to be thinking in a preemptive kind of thinking here, because in the end, at some point, it's going to come down to a confrontation of some kind. Peter Pry, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.